Well, last night, President Cyril Ramaphosa delivered his first State of the Nation address under the 7th Administration's Government of National Unity. And in his speech, he acknowledged the deep injustices of the past where people of color were systematically excluded from economic opportunities. And as part of efforts to correct these wrongs, he announced the creation of a 20 billion rand fund which is aimed specifically at supporting black-owned small enterprises. But what impact will this have and how has the address been received? Well, to further deliberate, let's now welcome governance expert Dr. Sam Koma, who's joining us virtually. Doctor, great to have you with us. Welcome. So quite a lot of mixed reviews pertaining to the State of the Nation address, but ours at this time really is to focus on the economic growth pronouncement, where that 20 billion rand will be injected, the president said, to address local, specifically black-owned businesses. Will this make a difference, you think?
Yes, thanks, Alicia, for the opportunity. Yes, I think as the president correctly stated, we have an urgent task to grow the economy with the view to, of course, ensure that unemployment levels are drastically reduced, including poverty levels, but also, very important, improving the lives of a majority of South Africans. And also the other reality, we know that 30 years or so into our democratic order, majority of Black South Africans remain economically marginalized. But there have been some attempts before. So what the president pronounced yesterday as part of setting up this transformation fund worth 20 billion rands is not a new initiative, for example, but of course he has to be appreciated and also acknowledged in terms of coming up with this bold initiative. So we know that also in 2016, government launched the Black Industrialist Program,
yes,
which we were promised that it will facilitate the creation of a sizable number of Black industrialists who will be able to compete with big business in some of the major economic sectors, such as manufacturing and also mining. But we know that to date, there has been little improvement, and also there's not been tangible evidence that points to the fact that the broadest section of the Black communities have benefited or have been empowered through this launch and implementation of the Black Industrialist Program. So what I'm trying to say is that we have been here before, in that government is very good at announcing big plans, but very little movement in terms of ensuring that there is concrete implementation of some of these bold plans, very noble initiatives, I must say, in terms of course, empowering majority of Black South Africans. So it remains to be seen how this particular transformation fund in the medium and long term will ensure that there is a trickle-down effect, in the sense that the ordinary man on the street is able to also benefit as part of course, ensuring that there is economic inclusion, and also broadly there is empowerment of majority of Black South Africans. But at this stage, it should also be pointed out, Alicia, that we're still dealing with a concept. There's not been much details coming forward. DTIC, that is the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition, is yet to engage and also consult with key stakeholders as part of shaping this particular concept in the form of course, coming up with an implementation plan. But what we know is that the fund will derive its funding from private sector profits, of course, using the R20bn legislation. So in the next coming months or so, we're likely to see some amendments to the regulation or the law to facilitate for this setting up of the transformation fund. We know that the target for 2029 is 100 billion rand. So it remains to be seen how they will be able to secure the support of the private sector, because government require the private sector to come on board, buy into this, and also be willing to contribute substantively to the success of this particular fund.
Well, it did announce, Doctor, there that there will be an increase of those public-private partnerships. I mean, let's talk about this. I was asking the previous question, Doctor, because the president basically put everyone under that blanket of this fund, right? Including women and those with disabilities as well. So recently we saw with the SPAZA registration frenzy, and there was an amount that was said to have been injected here in Johannesburg specifically, but nobody seems to know where is or who received this kind of monetary assistance. And during the reaction, someone said something very important right last night. He said we need to be looking at who will be benefiting from these projects, as it's most likely that those who need it won't even have access to it. What do you say to these views?
That's very correct. In fact, personally, it will be interesting for me to see how this transformation fund, a portion of it will be earmarked to the guys who are owning SPAZA shops, yes, or intend to set up SPAZA shops, because we know that it is estimated that we've got about 150,000 SPAZA shops that are in operation, which are able to contribute a net economic value of around 170 billion rands. So it's a big informal sector, yes, that needs to be supported. It has to be harnessed, because this is the sector that accommodates majority of ordinary Black South Africans who have these wonderful ideas in terms of venturing into enterprises, but they need funding to be able to grow and sustain their enterprises in the long run. So it will be interesting to see, once we have these details coming forward, whether what they refer to as township economy, a bigger chunk of the fund will be earmarked to these ordinary Black South Africans, including youth, Black women, and people with disabilities.